So welcome back to another anime review. Last time we checked out Vampire Hunter D, and I liked it so much that I didn't want to waste any time moving on to its follow-up, Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Now, how does it compare to the original? What's it all about? We're going to talk all about that today. I do want to say that you don't have to watch the original movie to enjoy this one or to get the most out of it. This is really a standalone story rather than a direct sequel, so if you don't know anything about the series, you're fine watching this one first. But once again, the movie is set in the distant future at a time where vampires and werewolves and all sorts of monsters are roaming the earth. However, this time around, things are not going so well for the vampires. Their numbers are dwindling due to being hunted for a number of years. Not just by our hero D, but also by a bunch of humans who are bounty hunters and they're seeking rewards for killing these vampires. The movie starts out with this woman getting abducted in her sleep, getting abducted by a vampire. Then we cut to our hero, D, the vampire hunter, and he is hired by this woman's father, who is apparently very wealthy. He offers to pay D $20 million to rescue his daughter, or at the very least, if she's already been turned to a vampire, to give her a quick and painless death. So D takes on the job of hunting down this vampire, searching for whoever it is that abducted this woman. This is complicated not only by the fact that he's up against a bunch of powerful enemies, but also he has some competition because another group of hunters were also hired for the same job. So whoever manages to save the woman first gets the money. So this makes for some interesting dynamics. You have this group of bounty hunters working as a team, competing with D, and they have really different opinions of D and how they should handle him, how they should treat him. Some of them respect D, others not so much. Others just want to kill him. They don't like him because he's part vampire, and he's competing for their money, right? A lot of interesting dynamics in the story. It is a more complex story than the first movie, not only because of these added characters, but also there's this aspect of maybe the woman wasn't really abducted. Maybe she wants to be with the vampire and wants to become a vampire, and maybe the bad guy is not such a bad guy. We don't know. It's a little confusing. I'm not going to give away the ending, but there's all this complicated stuff at play here. Overall, this movie just feels like such a bigger movie than the original. It's longer, the story is more complex, and the animation is just way beyond what we saw in the original movie, which came out 16 years before this one. We're jumping from 1985 animation to 2001 animation. And the difference is just a little staggering. This is really like peak hand-drawn animation. It's very stunning. There's so much detail in every shot, from the backgrounds to the characters themselves. It is really a spectacle to behold. There's still lots of cool action. We see even more vampire powers this time around. Some of it can be a little bit disorienting, a little bit confusing. We have kind of illusionary stuff we're seeing, and we're trying to sort out what's real and what's not, trying to pick apart this story and what's going on. We see lots of kind of death and destruction. I will say the action sequences in this movie, they are very satisfying, they are very cool, but they don't seem to go on that long. There's nothing drawn out about them. Sometimes some of these fights are just, they're hardly fights. You know, a powerful enemy approaches and they just get sliced one time and they're done. That's it. So there's a lot more kind of drama and exposition here, and not quite as much, you know, actual fight scenes. It's not slow at all. It just, I wanted some more lingering action scenes, and they were over very quickly, but there's so many of them, so it all balances out. And it's a very interesting story, very interesting characters, and everything that's going on. It is a great film. It is a very good film. It's very dark, very gothic. They really nailed those tones. There's not a lot of comic relief. I think D's talking hand tries to be kind of comic relief sometimes, and I didn't really click with it when it tried to be funny. It does a good job of kind of explaining some things that are going on, getting you up to speed and giving you some context, some background information. One thing I said about the original movie is that it was just a lot of fun. Despite the dark themes, the heavy themes, the kind of gruesome stuff we would see sometimes, it just had this overall fun feel to it at the same time. This movie wasn't really as fun, and I don't mean that negatively at all. It wasn't as fun. It was much more serious, much more dramatic, much more dark. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's all a matter of opinion, right? So even though this movie might be objectively much better than the original, technically better, the original still had a lot of heart and a lot of charm of its own, and I can't decide which one I like better because I just had so much fun with the original. You can't go wrong either way though. These are both fantastic movies. Again, this one's just a marvel to look at. Even though it's 20 plus years old, it is still very visually stunning, and it's a great story. They did a great job with the direction and everything. Yes, it's dark, it's very grim, but there are still those kind of heartfelt moments. We still see Dee's good character shine through and affect those around him, and it's really touching at times. It's shocking at times. It is very emotionally captivating. Great movie, great follow-up to the original. I don't know what else to say. And I don't know which one I like better, but I can just say that I highly recommend both. So definitely, if you haven't watched these movies, definitely check them out. You can watch them in any order you want and enjoy them just as much, I think. So happy I finally checked out this series. Again, thank you to Friendly Neighborhood Geek for suggesting this. Looking forward to seeing what the future holds for this franchise. Of course, the books are still going strong after 40 years and over 50 books. I think they planned a new movie or a new series, but it's been delayed for years and years, and we'll see what happens with that, but keeping my eye out for sure. Let me know your thoughts on Vampire Hunter D. Are you a fan? Which movie do you like better? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoyed the video. I will see you next time. Take care.